my first job ever was a server at a restaurant, and that's what I was still in high school. From there, I actually jumped to the staffing company right after high school. And it was kind of there to accommodate my school schedule, going to college a little bit better. From the staffing company, once I came to Tropicana, I just loved it. Offered me a position to make me a permanent employee. So I started off with them through the staffing company as a runner, assistant to whatever they needed. Once I completed that task of whatever was assigned, they kind of gave me, I would say, like a small promotion, and I was like a leasing assistant. From leasing assistant, I then was promoted to the compliance department. From compliance officer, I became a leasing manager. And I was a leasing manager for quite some while. Now I would get kind of like promotions within that position of like more responsibility and things like this. And then from there, I was promoted to have a hybrid position where I was a leasing manager and a regional manager. And then after about a year doing that, I was promoted to COO for Tropicana, which is Chief Operating Officer. And that's where I am still today.
So welcome back to the Unlocking Doors podcast, where we highlight the people, the stories, and the experiences that help us recruit, retain, and advance exceptional talent in the multifamily housing industry. I am your host, Christy Rodriguez, and today's episode is one that I have been looking forward to. We're talking about something that's so close to my heart: building a meaningful and successful career in multifamily housing, with or without a traditional path. So our guest today is a respected operator, an industry voice, and someone who has built his success from the ground up. And his journey has inspired countless people, and I know it's going to do the same for you all. So before we dive in, let's just set the stage for today's conversation, because we're going to explore how opportunity can show up unexpectedly and how talent can be grown from within, and why multifamily is uniquely positioned to change lives, just like it has changed his. So let's welcome Danny Perea. Danny.
Awesome.
I'm
Thank
so glad
you.
to have you.
How's it going, Christy? How are you?
So let's start at the beginning, because your journey is one that many people can relate to. So let's just rewind a little bit. So
Okay.
Tell us how you first found your way into the multifamily housing industry.
Well, I think like many, I kind of by accident. So I was actually enrolled in college, and I was working for a staffing agency. And during that staffing agency, like depending on what I had going on, they would send me to a few different places, or sometimes they're like, no, not right now. And one of the places that they sent me to was Tropicana Properties. And this was back in like the end of 2005, beginning of 2006. So almost, I think I'm gonna have I have 20 years. So it'll be about 20 years that I've been with Tropicana Properties, technically this February of 2026.
Wow. So you were working for a staffing agency and you got placed at one of the properties. Is that
I did.
how it happened?
I did. They're like, we have an apartment. We have a job for you if you want to accept it. We have an apartment complex. They're looking for some help. And, we thought you'd be a great fit. I'm like, sure. Yeah. I mean, at the time, when you're like 19, 20 years old, you think like, oh, I'm going to school. School's, that's my priority. Everything else is secondary. Sure. Send me wherever. And, lo and behold, I end up at one of our properties, the first one that we have. It's called Burgundy Palms. And they just wanted somebody to run files, help whoever walked in, tour units, just really anything and everything. So that's how the beginning of my journey began. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. This is cool. I like it. So from
Love
there,
that.
we had a leasing. We had a lease up about, I don't know, 10, maybe 15 units at the time. And me and this other gentleman that was already there, and he had been in the industry for a while, we made a good team. We leased it up pretty fast, and they're like, all right, well, we're going to send you to another location. And I was like, sure. Most of the time when you're on these staffing agencies, the jobs are temporary. So sometimes they run out and you're like, oh, okay, runs out. What are you going to next? And so when they're like, oh, we're going to extend it, we're going to send you somewhere else. I was like, you know what? I really enjoy this. It was just interesting. It was unique. Not every day was the
Yeah.
same. There was so
And you
much
get, you get gratification from like just
Yes.
doing.
That's what I'm about
Yeah.
to exactly say. I was you get so much gratification from helping. And then the people were
Yeah.
so kind and sweet. They would bring me food or they would bring me this. I'm like, "Oh, this is nice." I mean, I didn't even do anything. I just did my job, but you're welcome. So it was
Yeah.
really different to anything else that I had really worked for. But I mean, at the time I was so young, I didn't have a lot of work experience either. But yeah, that was the beginning of my journey through Tropicana. And
Oh, wow, that is incredible. You know what stands out to me about the beginning of your career is you didn't necessarily have a checklist of qualification. You just came in with a willingness to learn and, a readiness to work. And, there's so many people out there who hesitate to pursue different careers, especially multifamily, because they feel like they're not credentialed enough, right? So what
right
would you say to someone who may feel like their lack of experience or degree potentially might hold them back?
in the multifamily industry, I think we're known for kind of starting in the bottom and really raising yourself and kind of bringing yourself to the top of the ranks. I think it's one of the few industries where you can climb pretty fast and there's a lot of opportunity for growth. But a lot of people aren't aware of that. A lot of people aren't familiar with multifamily. I think when you think of real estate, the first thing that comes into your mind is buying and selling homes. And I think that if one of those credentials or one of those things are holding you back, I think you should go for it. And I think there's a lot of stories like mine where people have gone from leasing agent to VP, president, or COO, or whatever the case may be, and they're holding these upper echelon positions. And really, the journey begins at the bottom, but that's where a lot of the learning begins, and that's what prepares you as you kind of excel through your careers. Like I've seen this. If you can handle being a leasing agent and a property manager, especially at Light Tech, feel like you can almost handle anything that life throws your way. Because, I mean, man, it's never a dull day, I can tell you that.
Oh, never a dull day. That is for sure. I will tell you, it's so interesting that you mentioned your path. You kind of touched on it, and many people come in and they can grow quickly. Tell us about your path, like where you started when you came in, what role you were in, and where you are now.
I don't even know if I had an official title when I started, but I was less than a leasing agent. And then from there, they paired us up, and I guess I kind of became a leasing agent's assistant, I would say. And we would go to different properties and lease those up. And we came to time where I got a promotion to the compliance department. And the compliance department, I can say I learned a lot, but it's not a lot of fun. It's not for me. It's not my cup of tea, looking at files all day, looking at paper is just there's not the involvement, there's not the excitement. There's like we said earlier, there's a lot of gratification in helping people and being involved. And I can say that I learned a lot and that actually helped excel my career for the future, which prepared me because after compliance, I actually went on to be a leasing manager. And we're structured a little bit differently, being that we're light tech. We only had about three or four leasing managers in the whole portfolio that did the majority of leasing, almost kind of like real estate style, right? Being a in leasing, that was my favorite. I mean, you're the good guy. You don't have to
Yeah.
enforce any rules. You're
Yep.
just the smile. Everybody loves you. And I did leasing for a very long time where, ironically, and it came to a point where we had about maybe 30 something properties, and I was the only leasing manager for our whole portfolio. So I was processing a lot of applications and any side of town, kind of going from this location. We were doing a lot of lease ups. I was constantly trying to break my own records on lease up. How quickly can we lease this one up? And I built so many relationships with a lot of families that still live there till this day, and moved so many people in from
Yeah.
leasing manager, kind of setting everything up. I was kind of promoted to have a hybrid position. I was leasing manager and a regional manager. So I had two positions and I kind of skipped being a property manager as a whole. So I kind of juggled those two for a few years. And then after that, I got a promotion to my position today, which is Chief Operating Officer for Tropicana. So it's kind of a very unique, yeah, thank you. It's a very unique pathway because they're like, what do you mean you're never a property manager? Well, not technically no, I was leasing agent to regional manager, and but I was with the company, and I did leasing for so long that I was very involved in the day-to-day stuff, especially when it came to management or any issues. So I know that's a very unique one because it's usually like you start off as leasing agent and then you go, assistant property manager, manager, and yeah, our hierarchy is a little bit different, so it was kind of skipped just being a property manager as a whole. I've been in multifamily for almost my whole adult life, right? I started at such a young age doing this. One of the things about, for me, at least with Tropicana, you hear a lot of people say, do what you love and you don't work a day in your life. I truly enjoy what I do. And I enjoy making a difference. I enjoy helping families. I enjoy problem solving and the critical thinking and all the problems that come and figuring that out and the solutions. And just when you think you've seen it all, I mean, the bar is raised every other week, at least. I would say every 2 weeks. You get something that you just wouldn't expect. Then you get things that you prepare for. But I would say more than anything, I truly enjoy what I do. And I have a passion for helping these families and making a difference. And I also like passing that mentorship down to our other employees and kind of like introducing them to this world of like multifamily, which nobody ever says, hey, I'm going to grow up and be in the multifamily industry. At least not when I was going to school. Like that wasn't one of those careers that you thought of. And just kind of sharing that because truly, there's not a day that I wake up and like, oh, I don't want to go to work today, or God, I'm going to call in.
Let's talk about like recruitment because, you came through a staffing agency, but I know you guys have different strategies about how you seek talent, especially the front end talent. I don't know if you'd be willing to share a little bit of secret sauce, but
I'm happy to share a little bit about it. Absolutely. One of the things that we've taken on, and I think it was actually instilled through TA, was the culture index. And I've gone to those trainings, and it said I'm a huge skeptic, which I am, and I was at first. But doing all my research and everything, it checks out, and it helps give you insight really on how to communicate with individuals, see what kind of motivates them. So that's been a great tool to kind of see, well, do they have really high autonomy? Are they going to be good for this position? Do they have high social ability? Do they have high detail for compliance? Are they patient? And it kind of helps us also build teams together so that we identify the strong points and kind of mix and match. Because one of the things that I really focus on when I give the culture index to people is it's not a test. You don't pass or fail. It's just how you're hardwired. Everyone is just a survey, but it's really helped us identify some of that. And then we do a few other little things. We do on the maintenance side, we're doing assessments, and Demetrio and Manny, who's our maintenance superintendent, they've done a phenomenal job, and they put together this. It's like a make. What's the best way to describe it? Essentially, we have an apartment that has everything that you're going to work on inside the basement of our corporate office. So it has like the water heater, it has electrical outlets, it has 2x4s for sheetrock, and the washer and dryer, refrigerator, and it has everything that you could kind of assess in order to be able to train maintenance. So we wanted to kind of, the Beacho's vision was, let's take that a step further. It's different to train on the field, but let's also start hosting these training classes here, record them, be able to share all this information, because you're going to experience so many things when you're out in the field, and it's not the same when you're making that call. And if you get familiar with all of this, you're able to provide like a training station that really identifies what maintenance challenges they're going to be going through, at least the ones that we see very often. And then on the admin side, we do have some like critical thinking questions where we get a little bit of insight on that. Recently added some questions that kind of give us a little bit more insight about leadership skills and emotional intelligence. And then you kind of put that all together with a little bit of AI, and it gives you a lot more insight about an individual than what you were able to have before. And there's a rubric that's set up with leadership skills and things like that. Like, again, there's no right or wrong answers. We're just trying to put people in places that they fit so that they can be successful.
so Danny, you mentioned that whenever you came into the industry, you were in college, but you were working at the same time. I'm curious, did you finish your college degree, your path there, or did you just find your career once you came here?
Well, that's a great question. I didn't finish, but I continued going to school for for a while after. I was really set on at the time, I'm gonna get my degree, school comes first, I'm gonna get my degree. And I came to kind of an impasse. Like I had to choose between working at some place that I really love and I enjoyed, and I just had an affinity and like I mentioned earlier, I enjoyed going to work. I love doing it, or quitting because all the classes for my architecture program were with labs and during the day, and I wouldn't have been able to compensate my work and school schedule at the same time. So I chose to work full time, and I did not finish college. I did take business classes after. However, my perspective at the time, which I still stand by, is I learned so much more here in the real world and doing things as opposed to being in school. And, having conversations with Demetrio is like, hey, you're going to learn so much more here. And one of the things that he had mentioned is college prepares you to get your foot in the door. He's like, look at me, I have an architecture degree and I don't do anything with that. Look where I'm at. And so, I meant to go back and finish college, but I kind of changed my mindset on that. I was like, I'd rather invest all that time and energy in learning my craft and my career and putting it so that I can be better at what I do here. And that's what I do constantly. So that's where I'm at. But I did not finish college. And I also think for anybody out there that thinks you absolutely have to have a college degree in order for it to open doors, I want to tell you right now, you don't. I think I'm a good example of that. I think multifamily is one of those few industries left where you can come in here and you can go as far as you want to take yourself without a college degree because it's not required.
I love that so much. It's incredibly valuable, especially for those listeners that may be wondering if they fit in multifamily. So that leads us to the heart of today's conversation. So if someone is listening right now and is unsure about their direction, maybe it's a high schooler that just graduated high school, or maybe it's somebody that's in college. It's like, I don't even know what I'm going to do when I get out. Maybe they're changing careers. Maybe they're already in a career and they're stuck. If maybe they've been told that success requires a degree that they don't have, what would be your message to them today? What would you want them to walk away with from our conversation today?
I would want them to walk away knowing that multifamily is an industry that's often overlooked, that has so many opportunities for growth and advancement, that whether they do or don't have a college degree, you can excel regardless. It's really what you kind of put into it. And I want to let them know that when I say all of these things, this is truly how I feel. This is my passion. And so many other people I think would also benefit from having a career in this industry. The problem is, I don't think they're fully aware that this industry exists. But I think if there's more marketing and more out there and there's more standardized under real estate, like property management, there would be so much more success with people transitioning into this industry. But I would say don't miss out because you're leaving behind a great opportunity where you can thrive and enjoy what you do. And those are the two biggest components to success is enjoying what you do and being able to thrive and not being stuck at some dead end job where, hey, I'm maxed out here. In reality, you can grow and anywhere in the United States. You can start in
Yeah.
Austin, Texas, and you can take that to a whole other state all the way up to Seattle or anywhere else. And once you know this industry and you know what you're doing, you can thrive in anywhere in the United States.
Yeah, it's so great. What a great message that is. I completely believe it too. I know at Tropicana, you guys have actually hired, front end, like people from the retail industry or even the food industry, I think is what I remember as well. People that are working these long hours, it's holiday time, holiday hours, not even realizing that come on over here and, we don't work those hours. You'll have better balance. So yeah. I don't know if you wanna talk about that at all.
We actually have a lot of people that have so many different beginnings in our company that are like upper echelon positions, and they've grown and they've had different paths kind of as well as where they start front desk and go from here, there, and now they're compliance director. And we have so many stories like that, but you're absolutely correct. We like to hire without experience, and we kind of want to go and look out and see where we can scout talent. I mean, we hire with experience as well, but we're looking for those people that didn't know about that industry. And I'm surprised on how many people kind of either, they started at Tropicana and I see them still in the industry, or they've stayed with Tropicana for so many years and they're just like, hey, I love what I do. I love this. And yeah, it can be a little chaotic at time, but I kind of live for those moments. Retail, again, I feel like kind of going back to what I was saying earlier. Sometimes, I mean, how far can you really take retail? I mean, and we have so many people that have come from retail and used the skills and servers or is just different positions in different industries, and they've used those skills here to be able to kind of succeed and grow into different positions and get promotions and things like that.
It's the skill set, it's not always the experience. So thank you so much for being so open and honest with your story today, Danny. Your success is a reminder that ambition, heart, and hard work can open doors that a degree alone cannot. So to everyone listening, whether you're considering multifamily for the first time or you're already here and hoping to grow, remember this: potential is your starting point. This industry is your opportunity, and success can be built from any beginning. Thank you for joining us on Unlocking Doors. Until next time, keep learning, keep stretching, and keep believing in what's possible.